And you're live on the news review segment on the AM show with me, Sweetie Abochi. My guest this morning is Dr. Kwame Asante, and he's political scientist and head for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. And he joins us via phone now. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sweetie.
I understand ECG paid you a visit. It did me too last night.
yeah, just this morning. This morning.
Sorry. Yeah. So, Doc, I mean, given the circumstances, but we still have to do this for God and country. So, walk us through your thoughts for this morning in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I want to look at some of the campaign promise by the Dr. Bawumia. If you look at the campaign through the manifesto, a lot of ideas have come up, brilliant ones, some. So we need more answers from them and the rest of them.
Doc, your voice is fainter than usual. Maybe you could speak up a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it better now?
Yes, it's better.
Great. I'm saying that I want to look at one of the campaign promises of Dr. Bawumia, and I want to put that one in context. He did say that he wants to improve irrigation, make it possible for people to have irrigation, and that will enhance production of agriculture and all that. Beautiful one. But come to look at it, if you look at the problems we are having today relative to what the food insecurity, particularly in the north, it all comes on the fact that we have the whole northern farming community rely on rainfall for agricultural purposes. And as soon as rain fails, then you have a difficulty. That tells you that when we are making public policy, we have to make it in such a way that what we throw out becomes something useful and it supports the whole community. If Pualugu Dam had come on, we wouldn't have this problem because the basic problem of the north is lack of irrigation.
Right.
And that has created all manner of problems. So I would urge all the political parties, particularly MPP, that now that they are also re-promising the construction of Pualugu Dam using, the intervention of public sector to come into, they should make sure that they walk the talk. And at the end of the day, when they are given the mandate, they will do what they have promised. Broken promises have that consequence on the society.
Right.
And that this is just one of the examples that we'll find. So going forward, I want to urge the political parties that whatever they do promise, when they are given opportunity, they must implement them so that you save yourself all manner of troubles. Look at what we have here, food insecurity in the north. If Pualugu Dam had come on, I'm sure this problem would not be what we are discussing today. That is what I have on my mind this morning.
Thank you so much for that insightful, those insightful thoughts, Doc. Let's get into the newspapers. On the front of the Daily Graphic newspaper, Asantehene distools 3 chiefs over Galamsey. Bawumia commissions 10,000 YEA artisans and they receive starter packs for businesses. And let's get into that story. GCB Bank also maintains strong half-year growth. Let's start from the Asantehene distooling 3 chiefs over Galamsey, and that story is on page 13 of the Daily Graphic. It says the Asantehene Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II has distooled 3 chiefs in the Ashanti region for their involvement in illegal mining. That's Galamsey. The 3 chiefs, Jasehene of Sabronum, Nana Egwa Jao Etiomi, Sabronum's Achiamehene, and the Bemuhene have been banned from performing any traditional mandate on behalf of the Asantehene, who is the overlord of the Asante Kingdom. The Asantehene subsequently appointed the Ekwuamuhene of Sabronum as the interim caretaker of the area to supervise the election of a new candidate, Kofi Asante, as part of the process to install a new chief in the area. Doc, is this a good call?
Perfect. Perfect. I gave my heart to the king. The king has always been very, very, strict in matters of this nature. And this is one of the beautiful examples he has given us.
Yeah.
That this wanton destruction of the forest cannot be allowed to continue. All right. And particularly when we have chiefs who are the traditional or natural owners of the land, allowing these things to happen. And then obviously, Asantehene will not sit down for you to destroy his land like that. He will come in, and he came in timely. Right. I think that this should be the example for all other chiefs to follow. That the area that you control, when you see something, do something. Because all of us are at a risk if we allow the ecosystem to be destroyed, our arable lands for agriculture to be destroyed. At the end of the day, if we destroy our water bodies, where are we going to live? What are we going to live on or survive on? It is important for us to take such decisive decisions. And I applaud the king. It should be an example for all chiefs.
And I mean, it should even extend to our leaders. If we could use this approach if the government could adopt this approach, if you hear that a minister somewhere is funding Galamsey activities, you remove them from office. And it serves as a warning or deterrent to others to follow. But here we are, we have rumors and reports, sometimes verified, of leaders, government officials funding Galamsey activities in areas, and you wonder how the leaders who are supposed to be curbing or nipping this issue in the bud are the ones leading this charge. And what is it doing to the country, Doc? Yeah,
that is what it should have been the case. But we have a different story. As for the fight against Galamsey, I know the MPP has lost it. Maybe a new MPP one day will take up this fight. But for this government, I'm sorry to say, it has lost it and it's not ready to fight it. So the least said about that, the better.
Right. Let's do some other stories. Peasant farmers are calling for engagement over the agric interventions. The Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has welcomed the raft of interventions by the government to contain the looming food crisis as drought sweeps across the key food production zones during the main farming season. And the association, however, said the ban on grains exports was, quote, premature, hasty, and came without the necessary consultations to find a better way to handle the prevailing situation. The CEO of the business unit of the association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, told Daily Graphic yesterday that the government's intended support was timely and that the association, quote, welcomes government efforts to ease farmers' situation from the impact of the drought experience. And sometimes I listen to some of them and they say that some of these farmers, if not majority, have took monies, investments, and they pump these monies into their farms purposely for export, reasons. They're growing these crops or grains because they want to export them. So if the government, without consulting them, places a ban on exportation of these grains, you're inherently destroying someone's business and investments, and it would plunge them into debt, which in the long term also has, implications on the economy as a whole, Doc.
Yes. It tells you that, look, the decision was born out of, not careful decision taking. It came out as a knee-jerk reaction if what the group is saying is anything to go by. When you have stakeholders and there is a problem, you involve all of them. You sit down, you judge, and you arrive at a decision. That decision becomes everybody's decision. And that when you involve them, whenever there is a problem, they will be able to explain them, and then the two of you or the groups or the members will be able to find exactly what the solution should be. When such a decision is taken, every member will defend it when it comes to an attack. But when you leave members of the group out and you take your own decision that affect that group, obviously, that is the fashion in which they will come out. So it tells you that the decision was not born out of consensus. If it had been the case, there would have been something different in terms of what reaction. I'm afraid the government has to go back to the drawing board and do the needful if it really want this decision to stand the test of time.
Well, yesterday, I think we spoke to the PRO for the Agric Ministry, and he was saying that, well, they've heard the concerns of these farmers, and they would be inviting them to listen to their pleas, and they'll take
You are now inviting them after you've taken a decision that is affecting their life. They are what? Key stakeholders in the matter. You are taking decision without consulting them, and now that you are getting reaction, you are going for them. Why? You are putting the cart before the horse. That should not be the case.
But this is what we have. So, Bawumia commissions 10,000 YEA artisans. The story starts from the front page. The government has graduated 10,000 youth trained in various vocations under the Youth Employment Agency and commissioned them with packs. Where's that story? With packs of tools for them to use. I'll just get to it in a bit. Yeah, packs of tools and equipment to start their businesses. And they are the first batch of 20,000 young people to be trained through a 6-month intensive skills acquisition in various vocations. And the trainees went through accelerated apprenticeship training in hairdressing, plumbing, auto mechanics, plaster of Paris, that is POP, ceiling work, painting, and general electricals. Other areas are tiling, decoration, aluminium. So it's a number of them. And at the graduation ceremony in the Bono East Regional Capital, Techiman, yesterday, the Vice President, with the assistance of the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations, Ignatius Bafwewa, the Chief Executive Officer of YEA, Kofi Ban Ajepong, and others presented boxes of tools, equipment, and other accompaniments, also known as starter packs, to enable them start businesses of their own. Doc?
A great policy. A great policy. I commend Dr. Bawumia on that score. Because, you see, there are lots of young people roaming in the street of Ghana who don't have jobs simply because they don't have employable skills. So this type of training, we equip them with employable skills. Then they become attractive to the market, and then they can earn a living. And that is how we build a society. All societies that have developed, particularly in the first world, they've gone through all this. So if we are starting, we need to sustain it and make it better, moving it from strength to strength. And that is the way to go. I support the Vice President on that. It's a good call.
And I mean, it brings to mind that YEA Development Empowerment Program. And we also saw some of those who were onboarded onto the program come out. And I just wonder what their lives look like right now. It's not just about giving them the skills and the starter packs, but how sustainable is it out of this 10,000?
Yeah, that is why I was saying that they should be able to sustain. It's not only doing it for the first time, but we want to continue and then move it to another height. That is the way to go.
Yeah. Let's do some election stories. The integrity of 2024 elections can't be jeopardized, according to the Electoral Commission. And the Electoral Commission has assured that a biometric verification device cannot jeopardize the integrity of the 2024 elections. Quote, "It does not affect the integrity of an election. It is nothing more than an off-the-shelf device and cannot be used to compromise an election without the necessary technical and security protocols," a statement signed by the Deputy Chairman of the EC in charge of operations, Samuel Tete, said. And this follows the arrest of a man at Nsawam last Friday for the possession of a biometric verification device. It said the EC would collaborate with the Ghana Police Service to bring the matter to its logical conclusion. And the statement therefore urged Ghana Police Service to do everything in their power to bring the perpetrators or unravel the circumstances surrounding the BVD that was found in the possession of the man. This assurance, I do not know how Ghanaians are absorbing these assurances from the EC. First, it was the missing, equipment, and they keep assuring us that it has no implications or cannot impact election in any way. But how does a BVD end up in the home of a man in Nsawam? It's a mystery that I cannot wrap my head around. Doc.
That is also a difficulty for me, because you see, these devices are very, very important towards the success or otherwise of every election. So if you really want to maintain the integrity of the election, you go to high heaven to be able to what? Safeguard it so as to prevent, people from what? Having these things. So now that you have example like this, the question is what you have said. How are you going to what? Convince people that this is the only one that was, tampered with, and that there should not be any cause for worry. It's a difficult one, but I want to rely on the statement that this will not compromise the election, because anything that will compromise the election, I'm afraid nobody will take this. And it is incumbent upon the Electoral Commission as an election management body to be able to manage all these things very well, so that a thing of this nature will never be seen as we go forward. That is the only way, because anything that will raise an eyebrow will obviously undermine the fortunes of the election. And this, you and I are not ready to countenance at all. We want the Electoral Commission to be able to do the needful by protecting these things through whatever means, so that we don't have such occurrences. It is not good enough.
I mean, it's just these stories, when they come to light, most people who watch political talk shows like these will get the information and these assurances that the EC is giving. But others who, don't have the time nor even watch shows like these or follow the issues might just hear that a BVD has been found in someone's home, and they're thinking, it means the EC seemingly does not have their house in order. And it doesn't augur well for them, the speculations and the stories. For the Electoral Commission, well, I think they need to be more intentional going forward on how these issues are handled. But let's stay on election. The Peace Council has admonished pastors for no election prophecies. And I think it's very important. The National Peace Council has admonished pastors to be mindful of election-related prophecies, as they have the potential to increase political tension, which could lead to violence in the run-up to this year's election. The chairman of the NPC, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edu-Jemfi, said election prophecies and certain utterances from pastors could adversely affect the peace and security of the country. Quote, religious utterances can lead to increased tension among different groups. It can also become a major source of human rights violation, breakdown in social cohesion, and the stability of a nation. These unfortunate utterances often lead to violence and displacement of people, and can have long-lasting effects on societies. We've seen them in years past about, I had a dream, or I saw this prophecy that this particular flag bearer won the elections, and when they don't win, people are, they want to take the word of the prophets as against the word of the Electoral Commissioner. Doc, your reflection on this story?
Yeah, it is a good call, and that is how it has to be. These results and projections and all that are done by scientific processes, and we don't use prophecy and whatnot. It is true that God will speak to some people, but there are other people too who don't want to know any prophecy except what science tells them. So that is the basis upon which the Peace Council is speaking, that things of this nature can jeopardize the whole electoral process and can create problems. So we urge the pastors and the rest of them to stay away from these things. It doesn't help anybody, because we have seen the activities time and again, and more often than not, they don't get it. Those who, get it, it's not born out of science. Talk to statistics people, the mathematics and actuarial people, they will tell you that even if you get it wrong, you get it right. And it's projected not out of science, it's totally wrong. It is just like lotto. So they should stay away and allow science to determine these things, so that they don't create problems for us. Okay.
In sports, GFA, this is still the Daily Graphic, GFA to distribute 13 buses to women's clubs. So 9 Division League clubs and 4 Women's Premier League clubs will soon be presented with buses in fulfillment of the promise made by the Ghana Football Association last year. According to the GFA boss, Kurt Simon Okreku, the buses that had already been shipped into the country were locked up at the port due to some challenges in clearing them, but added that they were seeking support from the government to clear them. Speaking at the 30th ordinary session of the GFA Congress, quote, the GFA boss says 13 buses have arrived in Ghana. We've had problems clearing those buses from the port. We've sought support from the government. We hope the support will come, but our promise remains the same. We will deliver the buses to 9 Division 1 clubs and our 4 Women Premier League clubs very soon. And we will engage with FIFA to purchase $100,000 worth of footballs and also invest $100,000 in purchase of footballs for the Colts clubs. These are ambitious promises, but if the buses are already in the country, I think it's a step in the right direction, Doc.
I always have a problem, or it's becoming a problem in recent times. If you look at clearing of goods from the port and the rest of them, this is not the first story we have heard where they had difficulty in clearing goods from the port.
Yeah.
We have also heard stories where drugs that are meant for what? Certain illnesses and given to us free of charge by donor agencies have also remained in harbor. The problem is what? How to clear them.
Yeah.
Why is this thing happening? Especially when there are things that the government is going to use for the betterment of society. Why should it be a problem in clearing them? It means that the things do not work well. There are things that are happening in the port at the blind side or of the government, or government have failed to know that they exist. They should what? Do the needful by clearing all these hurdles so that things of this nature, they go through smoothly. Because I don't understand why things that are meant for use by government finds it difficult to what? Clear them from the port. After all, who controls the port? Is it not government? This story is not the best.
Does it smell fishy?
Sorry?
Does it smell fishy about the buses being in the country and these challenges at the ports? Something amiss, you think?
That is the concern I'm raising, that I don't understand. Yeah. Because who controls the port? Is it not government? These buses are meant to what? Further the work of government. I mean, you are talking about GFC getting buses and all that. Why are they struggling to get them out of the port? I mean, so it doesn't add up. There is something missing in there. Okay. Look at drugs for, the
global fund drugs,
certain ailments and all that. We hear stories that these things were allowed to even rot there. Why should it happen? There is something wrong. The government must get the basis right in that direction.
Let's move away from the daily graphic to the daily guide now. On the front page, there's a story about the 10,000 youth graduates from the YEA program. NDC goons attack NPP supporters over drip project. Wow, that's interesting. Talk about... Okay, let's get into that story. The arrival of District Road Improvement Project equipment at Asesewa in the Upper Manya constituency of the Eastern region was blocked by some National Democratic Congress supporters at a junction to the town. The supporters, upon the direction of their Member of Parliament, Bismarck Tetenyako, according to the New Patriotic Party chairman, Philip Kweku Mamfe, while speaking to Wontumi Movement Radio yesterday, demanded that the posters of President Akufo-Addo and the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on the equipment be replaced with his image. He was reported to have said that part of his salaries were used to purchase the equipment. So 2 pickup vehicles obstructed the road, with some supporters threatening to burn down the equipment with the petrol they had in their possession. The Monday afternoon incident left in its trail 14 persons injured. One of them, the constituency chairman, who yesterday during his radio interview said that the district fire commander was visibly seen encouraging the NDC supporters to carry on. The NPP chairman therefore called on the headquarters of the Ghana National Fire Service to probe the incident because, according to him, a security officer should not be engaged in such a mess as unfolded in Asasewa. Talk about violence-free elections, and this isn't even about election. DRIP project and NDC and NPP have started fighting over who...
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. I'm sure the security apparatus are on the ground working. They should work things out quickly before it degenerates into something nasty. Because there's no point. If you are going to have elections, why are you fighting? Why are you destroying things that is meant for society? But if I don't also get a connection where it is branded in somebody's, pictures and all those things. All these things the security people must look at it very well and address it. These are things that the security must be on top. They've been doing this thing over the years, and they should get it right and make sure that the right thing is done. As for election, when you have violence or you have things of this nature, all that you need is that the security apparatus are able to do professional work. And then you stem the tide, and then we move on.
The Speaker of Parliament has named AICC for the emergency parliamentary meeting. You recall that meeting was called by the Speaker following a request by the Majority Caucus, and they invoked that Article 112 of Ghana's Constitution. Let's get into the story a bit. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has designated the Dome at the Accra International Conference Centre as the venue for the emergency parliamentary meeting scheduled for September 3rd, 2024. The decision comes as the Chamber of Parliament is currently undergoing renovation works, making it unavailable for the meeting. And this meeting was called by the Speaker following a request by the Majority Caucus, which invoked Article 112 of Ghana's Constitution and Standing Order 53, which empowers at least 15% of members of Parliament to make this call. And the meeting is expected to address pressing matters of national importance, including a financing agreement with the International Development Association, tax exemptions for beneficiaries under the 1D1F program, and several bills, including the Budget Bill 2023, the Environmental Protection Bill 2024. Earlier, the Speaker had rejected the request for an emergency meeting by the Majority Caucus, citing logistical challenges and a lack of urgency in the matters presented. But this is where we are now. So come September 3rd, 2024, Parliament will have that emergency meeting at the Dome at Accra International Conference Centre. Has this been done before, Doc?
Oh, I have not heard of a thing of this nature, but these things could happen. But when they do, there must be the convention that exists, the necessary protocol to deal with this. So it shouldn't be a problem. All that they have to do is that when there are problems of this nature, they find a suitable place to hold their meetings. So if that's going to be the venue, fine. But the issue that has been raised is what is of interest to us. That is it in line with the rules of the game? That is Article 112 and the Standing Order 53. That is it. And if that satisfies the requirement for parliamentary work, why not?
Why not? Let's do some other stories now from the Daily Guide newspaper. ECG Accra East chases transformer wreckers. Leave our transformers alone. Let's get into that story. The Accra East region of the Electricity Company of Ghana is appealing to the public to assist in identifying and apprehending suspected thieves who've been vandalizing installed electrical transformers serving communities within the region, especially in the Dodowa areas. In a period of 2 months, the region has recorded the vandalism of 3 200 kVA and 1 50 kVA pole mounted transformers in some communities in Dodowa. Accra East Regional General Manager of ECG, Bismarck Otu, said to journalists in Accra yesterday that the incident occurred separately in various communities in Dodowa district between July and August 2024. And he explained that some unidentified persons usually push down pole-mounted electrical transformers and remove vital components from them. What are they doing with these? I know they're selling the parts to make some money, but is this what it has come to, Doc?
These are people who call them enemies of the open society. In a democracy, when you do things like that, you are described like that, enemies of the open society. Things the state have used resources, hard-earned resources to do. And you, because of your comfort, because of your selfish interest, you want to deprive everybody. I mean, you are not fit for this society, and the security will have to extend a hand of invitation to you. When they grab you, they should put you before court, because we don't do this. And I support the ECG to fight this battle. And we, as a society, must also support them in addition with the support of the security apparatus, because it's becoming one too many. You look at even major roads that have been constructed with certain metals on them.
Yeah.
I will give an example like the atomic overpass. There are certain metals there that are used for the construction of them. People have removed them. And every time I drive there, I ask myself, are these people Ghanaians? Are they human beings living in this country? That now they extend it to even gutters, the covers, they remove them. I nearly broke the tire of my car one day. I thought that, oh, this is a very safe place and all that. I realized there was it's an empty gutter here. There. I was parking very close to it, and I said, hey, we have people like this destroying this country. Look, we as a society must be up and standing and look for these people and hand them over to the police. I think they are not doing this country any good. They are nuisance to the society, and the society must find a way of getting them to the police. So please, all society, all the people of this country, help the ECD so that ECD can also help us. And let us extend that support to also road construction. I mean, where metals are removed from major areas of the road and then gutters. We should ensure value for money. We struggle to get resources to do this. But if we sit down for people, miscreants, to get them and sell them to satisfy their selfish needs, then we are failed as a society. We must be up and shine our eyes on these things.
See something, say something. I mean, we know the economy is hard, but it doesn't come to this. These miscreants, Doc, like you described them, they need to pause and understand.
Thievery.
Yeah.
And anybody who goes on that route, we should be able to hand him over to the police.
In sports, Ket Kat sought for 40-bed facility, and this is still the Daily Guide. Ghana Football Association President Keto Kreku yesterday broke ground for a 40-bed accommodation facility at the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram. He was supported by the Executive Council, Congress delegates, and former GFA executive. The ceremony highlights the association's commitment to upgrading the technical center to meet international standards. And this project, particularly funded by the 2022 World Cup allocation from the government, is a key part of the GFA's plan to elevate the center's infrastructure. They should tell us how much they're pumping into this, and they should be transparent with how the money that was received from the 2020 World Cup allocation.
One of the portions of our constitution is the preamble, which spells out some of the things we aspire to, some of the things we want to do. He said we believe in probity, we believe in accountability. So whatever we do as a society, our actions must reflect these canons in our constitution. And so, as you rightly pointed out, we need to know what amount of money has been spent on this. And this we need full disclosure. And then we need answers anytime we feel that there are questions that we want to ask, we demand answers. And once we do that, we should be able to lift up the game for ourselves. Because all these things are the tools of analysis that support the effort of government, for government to work and work very well for the satisfaction of society. So I will urge the society to demand accountability, and I also urge the society to support government so as for us to be on the same page. That is the way to when we're talking about governance. And it should be nothing but decisions that are very, very germane to the survival of the society.
Doc, I'll just do some quick headlines on the remaining papers, and then I'll come to you for your reflections. This is the Custodian newspaper. On the front page, of course, we got into the story of YEA graduates, 10,000 artisans. Mahama in 24-hour economy gaffe. Nightclub owners baffled over his day club proposal. That's the former president saying that discos and clubs would operate during the daytime as well. I think people are struggling to reconcile how that will work. Yoko sweeps 4 awards at IAA Confab. On the dry spell, government earmarks 8 billion Ghana cedis to support farmers. And that is the Custodian newspaper. Government to use NHF model for district housing projects. And you can see Kojo Nkrumah there. Let me just read a bit of the story. and then I'll move on. Government has announced plans to replicate the successful construction model of the National Home Ownership Fund in its upcoming district housing project. And this is part of moves to accelerate the delivery of affordable housing across the country. Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Kojo Nkrumah, announced this during his visit to the construction site for the NHF's Phase 3 project last week. Doc, I'll come to you briefly. The Ghanaian publisher on the front page, government to adopt, that's the same story, government to adopt NHF model for housing project, according to Kojo Nkrumah. Napo business moguls mourn with Bechie and Kandapa. 10,000 YEA artisans graduate. APN AAI to co-host Global Africa Forum in New York. And Nana Berima Owusu the first slams chiefs engaging in partisan politics. The Accra Times, Mohammed's pledge to Ghana, the NDC government I lead will be about you. Speaker Bagby champions sports development, commissioned state-of-the-art McCoy Sports Stadium in Nadoli. Doc, please give me a wrap of your thoughts. And then
I think I will touch on the district housing project. It is a good one, and I commend government to put in all effort to let it come into fruition. I want to support government to make it what a reality. It shouldn't be one of the talk shops.
Yeah.
It should be one of the workshops. I mean, you should work on the talk and bring it to fruition. And that also ties in the idea that we have a lot of affordable houses in the bush, bring them to life so as to ensure value for money. There are a lot we have spent on those projects, and they are in the bush as we speak today. We want to enjoy them. It is not meant for grass cutter and then other squirrels or other rodents. It's meant for human beings because we have put in our resources. Such projects are driven by state resources. So at the end of the day, we want to make full use of it. And I want government to direct its attention towards that. I wanted to see that in the MPP manifesto, but it was conspicuously missing. And if that is the case, maybe I didn't see it, but if it's there, they need to tie it to this so as to make that dream a reality. And that we can say that once we do that, we can say that we have ensured value for money. The support for agriculture or farmers in the area of agriculture, it's laudable. We want to see more because all that we do depend upon agriculture, food, and then we supply the industry with our produce and all that. If government shy away from supporting agriculture, we are bound to fail.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kwame Asante, Director for the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Thank you so much. Given the circumstances, thank you for making the best out of it and sharing your morning with us.
I wish you a good day.
You too. Right, so that's how we're wrapping up for the news review segment on the AM show. Ushering in AM Sports with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Stay tuned.